Have you been struggling to find the right graduate school? Well, the honest truth is, a lot of you are making huge mistakes that are keeping you from getting accepted into your dream program. In this video, I'm going to tell you what you're doing wrong and guide you through selecting the best graduate program for your future. Hey everyone, I'm Philippe and I am here to provide you with much needed advice on what to do when it comes to selecting the right graduate school. With the growing numbers of programs out there, it can be really difficult to select the right graduate programs, and a lot of you are making rookie mistakes that can set you back for years. But do not worry, I am here to help. Whether you're still an undergrad or you're currently working on your applications, I'm here to talk about potential pitfalls and provide you with tips to make sure that the decision you are making is the right one. The first mistake that many of you are making is selecting graduate programs solely based on rankings. While it's good to know what the top schools are, it's really important to not make a decision based on what your friends might think, or your parents might think, or just because it is well known. It's important to remember that rankings do not provide the full picture of what a program is. They're talking to you about the reputation of the program, the quality of the faculty, and the research output, and they do not account for the overall educational experience and how this experience aligns with your goals and your aspirations. There are many things that rankings are not talking about, like school culture, support services, costs, location, etc., etc. And these elements can significantly impact your overall experience. So it's really important to make sure that you're picking the right graduate program and that decision is a rational one. Keep in mind that there are a lot of programs right now that might not be as shiny and glitzy as some of the schools that you see in the top ranks of annual listings, but that can be in perfect alignment with what you need, what your aspirations are, and what you expect from your overall graduate experience. One way that you can go wrong when selecting a graduate program is not making a clear assessment of your career goals post-graduation. Choosing a program that is not in alignment with what you want to do post-graduation can create a huge mismatch between the skills and the knowledge that you're looking to acquire and seriously impact your future. If the school is well ranked but doesn't provide you with the right network in terms of connections with potential employers, internships, etc., you might be setting yourself for failure post-graduation. So it's really important to make sure that the program that you're choosing is really in perfect alignment with what you want to do, to make sure that you are investing the time, money, and energy in the right program. Another common mistake to make when selecting a graduate program is not having clear expectations of what type of experience you'd like to have while in graduate school. Do you want to be in a big class with a lot of people, or do you prefer to be in a smaller class with fewer people and more opportunities for you to connect with faculty? These are all factors that are really important in terms of the success you'll have in graduate school. Just imagine being in a program where it's really difficult for you to make friends, where you don't have easy access to professors, and where the material is somewhat disconnected with what you'd like to learn. This can set you up for a huge failure. You might feel less inspired to get good grades, to participate in the classroom, which leads to not connecting with the right employer and having regrets post-graduation. So it's really important to have a clear vision of the type of experience that you'd like to have in grad school and how this experience will align with your academic goals and your career goals. Another huge mistake to make when selecting graduate programs is not taking into account cost versus payoff. Higher education, whether it's a master's or a PhD or an MBA, is a huge investment in terms of energy, money, and time. And you want to make sure as you select a graduate program that there will be some level of return on your investment. It seems like an easy thing to think about, but if you choose a program that's highly expensive without taking into consideration the type of boost that you'll get salary-wise, you might end up with a load of loans and a salary that doesn't allow for comfortable repayment. Keep in mind that the cost of going to grad school can offset the benefits of going to grad school, and it could potentially lead to regrets. Overall, it's really important to pay attention to cost, but also to the salary of graduates, as well as any type of funding that might be available for you to offset the cost of going to grad school. Conduct a careful assessment of tuition costs, scholarship opportunities, and especially salary before selecting a graduate program. Speaking of selecting graduate programs, if you are currently in the process of selecting graduate schools, or you are currently working on your applications, slaving away away on your statement of purpose, working on your resume, etc., etc., you might feel overwhelmed. If this is your case, well, first of all, it is normal, but there's also a way for you to make sure that you're not missing any steps and that you are doing everything that is needed to meet the deadline. I've created a graduate application timeline that I personally use when I work with people that helps us stay on track as we move forward with applications. If you are interested in downloading it, there is a link in the description box, and it could be really helpful to use this as you move forward with applications. You can keep it on your phone, on your computer, etc., etc. So if you are interested, please feel free to download it. It is free. Another pitfall of selecting graduate programs is not conducting proper research about each program. I know it sounds kind of obvious, and I think that a lot of people are going online to find the information they need as they start looking at programs, but it's really important for you to take an in-depth look at each program, which can be really time-consuming and, let's admit it, quite boring, but it is really important to do it to make sure that you're selecting the right graduate program for you. So we've talked about tuition, we've talked about cost, we've talked about scholarships, we've talked about curriculum. Look at support services, the salary of people who graduate from the program. All this information can be really valuable in helping you cut down the number of programs available out there. It could be quite overwhelming. Your head could spin just looking at the number of programs. And frankly, between you and I, they all say the same thing. They're great and all the students are happy, etc., etc. It's important, based on your personal assessment of what you want to do post-graduation, the type of experience that you'd like to have, to conduct this research. And this is why it's really important to take your time as you go through the application process. You definitely don't want to cut corners, because that could seriously impact your overall goals of going to grad school. Another major rookie mistake that I see being done when people select graduate programs is not talking to current students. A lot of people are worried about contacting professors, etc., etc., but really the most important person to talk to when you select a graduate program is students who actually are in the program. Think about it. They are the ones who have sat in the classrooms. They are the ones who know about the content. They know the overall experience, and they have a lot of information that cannot be found on the website per se, that can really help you selecting the best program for you. So it's really important to contact graduate students, have conversations about their experience, ask them the questions that really matter to you to make sure that you are making the right decision. Another thing that a lot of people don't know about is that you can use these conversations in your statement of purpose to demonstrate to admissions committees that you're really serious about the program. These little illusions that you can have about past conversations with current students, either in your statement of purpose or during interviews, can literally turn a maybe into a yes. So do not forget to contact students. Another way to go wrong when selecting graduate programs is not attending info sessions. Listen, since COVID, most of these info sessions have been online, so it's fairly easy for you to attend these sessions. Again, it's a great way for you to interact with admissions committees and ask them the questions that really matter to you. Some of these info sessions, in addition to being online and easy to access, provide you with additional information that cannot be found on the website. Some info sessions invite alumni that you can talk to, current students, etc., etc. Let's admit it, all websites tend to kind of look the same, so attending an info session is a great way for you to get the real information about what the program is like. Keep in mind, especially if you are applying to highly competitive programs, that admissions committees keep track of people who attend these info sessions. You might attend an info session in September and the deadline is in December. Well, when they'll be looking at your applications, they will have your email and your name. And as I said, for very competitive programs, having attended one of these info sessions can make a huge difference. Why? Because they actually demonstrate that you have gone far beyond what is required of you to find out about the program. So it's a great way for you to demonstrate that you're super serious about this program and to make it easier for them to make a decision when they compare applicants with different profiles. So a great way for you to stand out is to attend these online online info sessions. Another common mistake when selecting graduate programs is overestimating or underestimating the importance of location in your choices. Let's talk first about underestimating the importance of location. So we've talked about tuition, we've talked about additional costs that are connected with going to graduate school. Well, the location of the program can also have a huge effect on cost. If you are moving to a program that's in New York or in Chicago, the cost associated with living there might be higher than if you choose a smaller location. Also, location plays a huge role in reaching your career goals. Location is also a hub where you get to connect with potential employers and all the support you need to get the job you want. When you look at a program, it's important to look at the location and how easy is it to navigate this location to reach your career goals, meaning getting the internship you want, connecting with employers, building a network that will help you grow in your career. Let's talk about the flip side of this, and the flip side is overestimating the importance of location. I've worked with a lot of people who are gung-ho about moving to New York or Chicago or living on the West Coast in a big hub because they want to have access to cafes, concerts, etc., etc. They want to be in a city. And this passion that they have for this location leads them to ignore other programs that could be a better fit for them. Keep in mind that grad school is only a few years. Even if you're about to attend a PhD program that's going to be 7 years, you are not signing your life away. This is not a lifelong commitment. And there's plenty of ways for you to attend a program that is in a smaller town and end up working in a big city somewhere else. So don't let location overshadow your decision because going to grad school is just for a short period of time. Also, keep in mind that going to a graduate program that is in a smaller location might actually work for you because it might help you get more focused on your studies, perform better in the classroom because you will have less distractions. So that's a good thing to keep in mind. Another major pitfall I see people making when selecting graduate programs is listening to other people when they make their choices. You should try to avoid listening to your friends, your family, your peers, the reputation of the school. It's really important to make a decision that is logical rather than emotional. There's a lot of forums online about my experience going to Harvard, my experience going to UCLA, etc., etc. While it could be a good thing for you to look at these videos or read these blogs and get a bit of information, it's important to keep the focus on you. What are your needs? What are your interests? What type of salary you want, what type of overall experience you want. Everybody is slightly biased. People have a wide variety of different backgrounds and needs and tastes. So keep the focus on your needs and try to avoid the noise. Another major mistake to avoid, and I've just talked about this when I was talking about location, is not taking into consideration the cost of living. It is usually much more expensive than we think to go to grad school. So it's really important for you to take into consideration the additional costs that will be involved in this program. In my opinion, it's always better to pick a program thinking that you're not going to get any scholarship and to make sure that you'll be able to go through this program and pay for it, and then have the pleasurable surprise of learning that you got a fellowship or a scholarship that will alleviate the cost associated with graduate programs. Okay, another common mistake that I see, and this is probably the most common mistake I see people making when they are applying to graduate school, is not allowing the proper amount of time for them to complete their applications. I know it sounds silly, but applying to grad school takes a lot of time. We've just talked about selecting programs, looking at them in depth, doing some networking with students, etc., etc. It can be quite time consuming, especially if you're working or you're still an undergrad and you don't have all the time in the world to get everything done. So it is important to avoid rushing through your applications. Not only it will have a significant impact on your chances of getting admitted, definitely don't want to send an application that is sloppy. That's the worst thing you want to do. But you also want to make sure that you're targeting all the right schools. You want to avoid having to wait another year because you made mistakes while applying this year. Keep in mind that you should have enough time to apply But you should also take your time as you apply to graduate school. It could be one of the greatest experiences of your life or a huge waste of time. So take your time, make sure that you have a plan, that you have the proper number of weeks to allocate to every element of the application so that you don't miss any deadlines and you get admitted. So that's it, folks. According to moi, these are the ways that you can go wrong when selecting a graduate school. I hope that this information was valuable to you and that it will help you selecting the right graduate program and that you are setting yourself up for success to reach your academic goals and your professional goals. If you're interested in learning more about the graduate application process, please feel free to follow me and subscribe. If you have any suggestions about potential videos I could be making to help you as you go through the graduate application process, your suggestions are more than welcome. It will guide me in coming up with content that is tailored to specifically to your needs. If you are interested in applying to PhD programs, for example, the PhD application process can be quite daunting. I invite you to watch the video that I've recorded where I go into a lot of detail related to PhD applications, and especially I focus on what admissions committees are looking for when they look at PhD applicants. Feel free to watch this video, and I will see you next time. Bye.